And now for the Kansas Wesleyan University's Coaches Show with the voice of the Coyotes, Tyler Henry. And now, here's Tyler.
Hello, everyone, and welcome in for another installment of the Kansas Wesleyan Coaches Show, presented by Billings Group. So good to be with you once again, and we're joined, as always, at the top of the hour by head football coach Matt Myers. Coach Myers, first and foremost, thank you again for coming on the show today.
Yeah, appreciate you.
So now that you've had a chance to, kind of take the weekend and go back through, look at some of the tape, I was curious to get just your overall thoughts on a really hard-fought battle with a really good Friends team.
Yeah, I mean they're unique in the sense that you're only going to see that offensive scheme once a year. And the game plan going in defensively was solid. Like, we gave up a lot of yards, but we also made them snap the ball a lot. We didn't give up a ton of big plays. They had a couple tricks in there for us that I hadn't seen before. So they were well prepared, and they hit a few of those. Unfortunately, they're early and even late on. They didn't necessarily hit the pass play, but they got a penalty out of it. And that, like, defensively we played hard. Like, it was good to see the team just play a full game and play as hard as possible. Like, we didn't have a lot of mistakes offense or defensively, or we popped one big on special teams again, which was good to see. Offensively I guess there were some mistakes made, but it was more within the context of, like, we weren't quite hitting the holes right at the right time, which they have a very unique defense also, which kind of, timing wise, it forces you to be better. They can get you off your game there when they're picking and popping and slanting and stuff. So, offense obviously didn't move the ball as well as we wanted to. We just need to, especially when we get the turnovers, we need to be more efficient with the football in the air. And we ran the ball solid and tough, and we lost our right tackle there early. And, Wesleyan just came and played the rest of the game for us. So there were some good things to take away from it. We just, you can tell we got better. Unfortunately, we just didn't close it out there late.
I know that, through these first 4 weeks, regardless of the result, there have been positive takeaways. There have been building blocks. What do you feel like are the biggest things that you can hang your hat on and kind of build upon as we head into the backstretch of the season? I mean,
the effort was there, and that's really good to see. Like, we, even when we got down, right when they scored right before half, we came back and made some plays to get down and kicked a field goal there for half, and we were down 10-9 at half, and it didn't feel like we were losing the game. Like, the guys' the mental makeup of the team, you could tell was had improved, and they came out and battled in the second half, and it was. It was just a hard-fought game. Like, I don't know, what else you're going to say. Just that alone, like, the mentality of the players and their, mental disposition on the sideline, and the way they were treating, going blow for blow with a really good team it's good to see, and hopefully that helps us go into these next 2 weeks before the bye and start turning this thing around.
Well, and what would you say are kind of the biggest fundamental improvements that you still need to see out of the team, on both sides of the football here as we head into these final 2 weeks before the bye?
Oh, I mean, tackling was solid the other day, not last night, but tackling was done well. I think schematically the defense, we install new firm every year, so it's something we have to do every single year when you see this offense. But they took that and they did a really good job with their reads and what we were asking them to do. So that's good. Like, you can just them learning something new within the week and being able to do it for the game was good to see. And then, offensively, they kept playing. We popped some big plays on them. Earl had one down their sideline, and some of our screen game was working. So some of that stuff was really good to see, and hopefully it'll help us out as we go forward. And Byron getting the ball out here. I think just getting the ball completed and checked down as he goes, especially early in the games, and staying in the pocket versus kind of when to stay in and get out of the pocket. That's something as he improves on, he'll be able to get the ball pushed down the field and get the ball completed.
Not a heavy hitter here, but you ever seen 8 fumbles in a game, much less forced 8 fumbles in a game at any level?
I don't know. I don't. Not to my memory. Unfortunately, in my view, that should have been 9.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was down or not. I had a pretty good angle at it. I still think he was off the ground there in the third quarter, when he dropped it around the 50, but whatever. That's what it is. I mean, we'll move on, and our goal is to go into this next week and and start winning games again. Like, obviously 1-3 is not ideal, but it's who we are, and it's as myself and the staff. I mean, we were in here all day on Sunday, just looking at ways we can get better and fundamentally better at practice, and how that design is going to go, and what adjustments we need to make, and personnel changes we need to make, and hopefully we can hit our stride this next week and over the next 2 weeks anyways, and go into the bye with some confidence.
Through the first 4 weeks of the season, you've seen now the top 3 teams in the conference, all 3 ranked in the top 25 nationally. I was curious, do you feel like the KCAC as a whole, and certainly the ceiling and the teams that are kind of up there, have gotten stronger as the years have gone on?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's always really competitive. I mean, there's always a lot of parity within the league, and it'll continue that way. Specifically when you get, it happens every year. Like, you'll go through the season and you just never know. Like, if a team can stay healthy the entire season, like you're feeling pretty good about yourself, and then you never know what can happen in college football. I mean, you just, depending on your depth at what position, and your quarterback room healthy, is your O-line healthy, is your defensive line healthy? Like, if you can make it through a season and not have any of those issues, you can, hopefully you finish strong down the stretch. And if you don't, you might be asking some guys that to do stuff that they haven't been asked to do yet that year. So, our goal is always to make sure we're building depth and repping our stuff at practice, with everybody on the team. So when opportunities arise by circumstance, or if they earn the spot, they're ready to go. Well,
and I was curious, you mentioned kind of an unfamiliar spot to be in, but at the same time, we've seen what this team is capable of through these first 4 games, 1 or 2 plays away from probably taking the win against Friends. Really, I thought 3 or 4 plays away from maybe taking a win against Evangel. What is kind of the sense and feeling in the locker room right now with these guys, just knowing how close they are?
I mean, I'm going to address them here later today, but I think, just from the game and the post game, like they were excited. Like, the game was exciting. They were excited to be out there and playing football. Obviously, when hopefully there's no emotional letdowns, which I guess is possible, after a big emotional win or a big emotional loss. You're always kind of looking to see, like, how they're going to respond at practice and on Tuesday and Wednesday, and if they're going to come in locked in, and if they're not, the adjustments that we'll have to make. But we have a good group. Like, I think they're mentally tough, and I think that showed on Saturday.
Luke Armstrong just continues to make big play after big play for you. 2 kickoff return for a touchdown this year, 47 carries, 384 yards, 5 touchdowns already on the ground. I know that you've got a lot of weapons in your toolbox to use as an offense, but do you feel like that's a guy you can almost build and kind of key an offense around?
Yeah, I mean, and we'll continue to do it. Like, I want him to touch the ball, minimum 20 times a game. Hopefully we can get our snaps up and make sure we're controlling the clock a little bit more and keeping drives alive. But he's really talented, and even a guy that we can use as a decoy at times. And if I'm a defense, I'm for sure keying on him, making sure we're getting him on the ground. So he's a good tool to have in the toolbox.
I know we talked about him on the post-game show, and I don't want that last play to take away from the game that he had, because I thought Jamison Price played an amazing game of football for you. 2 fumble recoveries, 7 solo tackles. Did you feel like you saw him kind of grow up and take a step forward in that last game?
Yeah, it was really good to see. He actually had a shot at a safety there when we had him down on the 1-yard line. He was close. I mean, almost got him down, and that would have ended the game too, probably. But it was really good to see him go out there and play. He'll be a guy for us moving forward that I think we can have out there, and it was good to even see him like backside tracking on some of their big plays. And tackling the guys out of bounds. So, like, he's a big athletic kid that'll I'm sure that'll continue to play for us more and more.
This is the 3rd straight week that you're going to get an undefeated team, just kind of how the schedule shakes out. When you look at Bethel, they come in here at 4-0. What are kind of your overall thoughts on this year's Threshers? What are the biggest things that stand out to you with them?
Every time, or at least for the last 3 years, it's their quarterback is very talented. He's ultra athletic. I think they lost some of their skill players from last year, but they're a good team. I mean, they'll be well coached, and we got to be ready to go. We got to make sure that we can contain their quarterback, because he is he's very dangerous for sure.
Well, and obviously DJ Sears a big piece to that matchup. But, beyond just containing the quarterback, overall, what would you say are your biggest keys to the game? What does K-Dub have to do? Pick up a big bounce-back win here this week?
Yeah, we got to make sure that we keep the Sears under wraps for sure. And then, it's making. I think we want to make him throw the ball deep down the field and keep him as uncomfortable as possible. And, the offensive philosophy is going to stay the same. Like I've said this before, but I mean, we want to run the ball. Like we have to be able to displace guys up front and run the ball, and then make sure we're being efficient in the pass game. And then as long as we can do that, then hopefully as within the context of the game, we can start taking shots and pushing the ball down the field and hitting some big plays.
Well, Coach Myers, thank you again so much for your time. Best of luck to your Coyotes this week.
Yep, I appreciate you.
Once again, that was head coach Matt Myers here on the KWU Coaches Show, presented by Billings Group. We'll step away, but when we return, we'll hear from wideout Earl Gray. That conversation is next on KINA.
We spend 1/3 of our lives working to build our wealth. With over 50 years of combined experience, Billings Group wants to be there to help manage yours. If you're planning for retirement or looking for financial coaching, then come see us on Westchester Drive, east of the YMCA, or visit our website at billingsgroup.com. Securities offered by registered representatives through Private Client Services, member FINRA, SIPC. Advisory products and services offered by investment advisory representatives through RFG Advisory, a registered investment advisor. RFG Advisory, Billings Group, and Private Client Services are unaffiliated entities.
When life deals you a bad call, throw the challenge flag and fight for your rights. With more than 110 years of combined experience, the legal team at Carter & Alt Duel in Salina help their clients fight to overturn bad life calls, DUI arrest, divorce, child support, and custody decisions, or protecting your Second Amendment rights. Wade Carter and Charles Alt Duel fight for you every day. Get the winning legal team at Carter & Alt Duel on your side to fight for your rights. Find them on the web at cadlawlc.com. That's cadlawlc.com.
Now back to the Kansas Wesleyan University's Coaches Show with Tyler Henry.
Welcome back in here on the KWU Coaches Show, presented by Billings Group. We're joined now by one sophomore wideout, Earl Gray. And Earl, first and foremost, thank you so much for stopping by the show.
Thank you for having me.
So you're a product of Florissant, Missouri, a little ways from home here. I was curious, when you look back on the decision, what led you to Kansas Wesleyan? What made you want to suit up here in the purple and gold?
Coming from Missouri Baptist, I didn't really like the program there, and then the competition level wasn't really that high, so I was going to just take a gamble. Like, I never left my home. I never been far away, and I knew the school was far away, and I knew it was going to challenge me to be a better player. So I was like, let me go to this school to see, where I'm at actually, So let me go against these guys that are good so I could challenge myself to make myself better. So I came here with an opportunity to, just see where I was at, football-wise. So I just wanted to challenge myself.
And I was curious, obviously, whenever you jump into a new program, there can be a lot of discomfort. There can be some kind of growing pains early on. But,
yes,
you already had a connection, as far as I understand, with Byron McNair, the quarterback here.
Yes,
can you just take me through that a little bit and how much easier it's been for you to settle in given that connection?
Okay, so first I met BJ at a workout field at Parkway North. So we would just all go to this field, players from different schools though, because it would be certain coaches that coach all of us, off season. So I just seen them there one day, and we were working out, we were throwing, and then I'm not sure if are you guys familiar with Destroying, the YouTuber?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay, so it's a YouTuber. He do multiple videos going around the world, different states, doing one-on-one tournaments and stuff like that. And he was actually my quarterback in that too. It's on a YouTube video on that. So then we basically just got closer because we kept going to the same training session. So we just was learning each other, and he was throwing it to me constantly because we was there with each other. And then over the time, we just got closer as friends because we training with each other almost every day. We never went to the same school, and then we literally just got close to each other by training in football, literally.
Well, and I know that, obviously you guys, you could tell even from game one, that first touchdown catch, that connection has been there since day one, but
yes,
you guys had a chance to work out together over the summer as well. When you look at yourself as a wideout, how do you feel like you define yourself as a wide receiver with your skill set?
My skill set, I like to be a route runner. I take pride in, running multiple routes. I feel like I can run any of the 9 routes, any of the routes on the route tree, a dig, a post, a fade, anything, comeback. I really take pride in that because, being able to be backside one-on-one, your quarterback wants you to win that. You're backside one-on-one, man, zone, whatever, you got to be able to win, and your quarterback got to trust you to win that. So, I'll just take pride in running routes. Yes, sir.
And I was curious too. You talked about the competition level at your last spot wasn't maybe what you expected it to be. Now that you've gone up against some of the best defenses here in the KCAC, how do you feel about just the level of competition that's here and some of the talent that's on display here in this conference?
I mean, it's way better here. Like, I knew coming here was going to be a challenge because of the competition level. In practice, like in practice it's hard. So when we get into games, it should be easier for us. But yeah, it's been higher competition, but I'm very good at adapting. Like I came here, worked my way up and been here ever since. I keep working, I keep going hard. So even though the competition hard, I'm going to play to my level, you feel me? And I'm going to play higher than that. So, yes, sir.
And I feel like you and Byron share kind of that same spark, that same energy a little bit when it comes to, put the head down, get the work done and all that. I was also curious, though, when you were, coming up, growing up, and maybe in high school, maybe in college, maybe before that, were there any players that you really kind of admired that you feel like shaped your game a little bit?
I wouldn't even say he shaped my game because, we're totally different wide receivers, but Calvin Johnson,
okay.
He's 6'5", big guy, just go up and get the ball. It was, just fun watching him. And Julio, I don't know why I like the big, taller receivers, but, just watching them just dominate. You could just throw the ball up, they're going to grab it, 2-3 defenders right there, they still going to grab it. But, a smaller receiver, I would say Antonio Brown.
Okay.
I know it's a lot of stuff going around.
Sure,
about him,
fair enough. Elite receiver back during his day. And we've already seen you go up and moss a couple of guys this season. It's been a lot of fun to watch. Now that you've had, really the spring camp, the fall camp, a little bit more time to settle in, what would you say defines kind of the culture of football here at Kansas Wesleyan?
Culture of football, family, unity. Everybody here, they've been here for a long time. I just got here, but I like how the guys come together. They got that family-orientated vibe. So, they just they accepted me, with open arms, being a transfer from another school, not really knowing nothing about the school yet. And they just accepted me, showed me their values and their beliefs, and we've been rolling ever since. Yes, sir. On
the field, off the field, you carry yourself with a lot of confidence. You're already the team's top receiver through the first 4 games of the year, 127 yards and a touchdown. Do you feel like you expected to kind of come in and have this kind of impact right away? Is it something that just kind of developed? Just kind of take me through that.
Coming in, expecting to have the impact that I had, I knew I was going to have a good impact because of all the work that I put in this summer. But this not even it. It's way more. I put this is the bare minimum for me. I can be doing way better than what I'm doing, and I know I am going to do better than what I'm doing. I'm really hard on myself because I know that the work that I put in, I want it to show more. So you guys are going to see a whole lot more coming up in these next 7 games that we got. Yes, sir.
Looking forward to it. Well, and Kansas Wesleyan's always been a team that's strong on the ground. They've run the ball effectively again this year. Do you feel like the passing game kind of just opens up once that run's been established?
Yes, sir. We got to do our job as receivers to do that downfield blocking so, we can turn those 10-yard runs into 30-plus runs to touchdowns, And by doing our job in blocking, that opens up the field for us to have those deep passes, down the field. Yes, sir.
Aside from yourself, who are some other guys in this receiving core, including tight ends, pass catchers out of the backfield, that have really kind of stuck out and impressed you with their play?
A guy I really like is Alex Elam. He doesn't talk a lot, He just goes out there to practice. He plays hard. He does what he has to do. And then Woody Banks, he's the receiver. He's our leader. He leads us. He makes sure that we got our heads straight. He makes sure we practicing hard. He does what he has to do. And then we have Quarter, number 5, great guy as well. And Casey and Staples, all of our guys is good. So we just need to find ways to get all of our guys the ball, get them all on the field. Yes, sir.
You guys have been through kind of the early season gauntlet here. You faced down, I would say, the 3 best teams in the KCAC through the first 4 weeks. What has kind of been, in your opinion, just your overall takeaway from the way the offense has played these first 4 weeks, when you look at it kind of as a package deal?
We need to help our defense out more. We need to stay on the field longer. We need to put up longer drives. I feel like we got to play better, and we will play better. We have been playing against some tough competition, but very winnable games. We got to do better at scoring in the red zone and the goal zone, because most of those times we leaving with field goals, and that really hurts us, especially when our defense just get a long stop or it's a long drive. Yeah, we got to do better at putting points on the board. Yes, sir.
We've seen flashes of what this offense is capable of, and I think we're going to see a whole lot more of that here, like you said, in these coming 7 weeks.
Yes,
when you look at this offense, when things are clicking, when you guys are moving the ball well on the ground, through the air, everybody's on the same page, what feels like to you the biggest strength of this offense? What makes KW dangerous on that side when things are rolling?
When things are rolling, we can literally do everything. As you can see, our run game is there. Luke Armstrong, like, great back. And then we got weapons, as you can see. We got Alex, we got Woody. Like, when we're just in stride, everybody's doing what they have to do. I don't feel like nobody in this conference can stop us. You know, it's just we got great receivers, great backs, and our O-line is great. So, like, when we were all rolling, it's nothing that nobody can do to stop us, really.
You made a good point earlier, again, the improvement mindset, and I think that's something that carries over to K-Dub's culture, but I can see it in you as well. Overall, through the first 4 games, what would you say has been the thing that you felt like you've done the best, and what is one thing that you really want to kind of improve as we head into the backstretch of the season?
Okay, the one thing that I feel like I've done good really was, like, you talking about, like, on-field play?
Yeah.
Like, route running. Like, as I said at first, like, I do very good at getting open. One thing I do need to work on now is more downfield blocking. Because as you get tired, you might loaf on a block or something. Then, like, the worst feeling is your guy getting the tackle on a running back. So, yeah, you got to stay in front of your guy, drive your feet, and get that block. You got to take pride in blocking. Yes, sir.
You guys have got a good Bethel team coming up here this week. Where will the Coyotes, and specifically the offense, have to be sharp in order to get a big win here against the Threshers?
We have to make sure we're dominant in the run game, most specifically. And we have to win our matchups, our one-on-one matchups, especially if they go man. Your quarterback got to trust you, take that shot. You got to go up and get it. Yes, sir. You got to win those matchups.
Well, Earl, thank you again so much for your time. Best of luck to you and the rest of the Coyotes this week.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Once again, that was K-Dub wideout Earl Gray visiting with us here on the show. Our conversation presented, as always, by the Jeff Wells Agency of American Family Insurance. We'll step away, but the K-Dub Coaches Show, presented by Billings Group, rolls on next on KINA.
Harbin Construction has been showing integrity, innovation, and building relationships since 1954. Harbin has been doing amazing commercial contracting work in the Kansas area. A fun fact about KWU: Harbin Construction founded just 6 years after KWU's Memorial Library was built in 1948. This building was dedicated to the 24 students who lost their life in World War II. Students helped transport the books from Carnegie Science Hall to the new building using stretchers. Harbin Construction is a proud sponsor of the KWU Coyotes and sharing history of our Salinas College with you. Harbin, your construction partner for life.
A house fire can destroy everything you've worked so hard for in a matter of minutes. Is your home at risk? Jay's Electric in Salina can help. In addition to electrical inspections to ensure your wiring is up to snuff, Jay's offers affordable smoke detector service plans with both monthly and yearly inspection options available. Are your smoke detectors working properly? Have those batteries been replaced lately? Learn more at jayselectric.com. That's JAES electric.com. Jay's Electric, helping you power through.
Now back to the Kansas Wesleyan University's Coaches Show with Tyler Henry.
Welcome back in here on the K-Dub Coaches Show, presented by Billings Group. We're joined now by James Bauer, offensive coordinator of your Coyotes. And Coach Bauer, first and foremost, welcome back to the show.
Absolutely. Always good to be here.
So I wanted to start here. If you take these first 4 games as a big package deal, what has kind of stood out to you the most about the Kansas Wesleyan offense?
We keep fighting. We're going to fight, and we're going to keep going. And it's just like we are one person missing something to doing, like just being a total completely different game, situation, season. Like everything's just different. And it's just one of those things you just like, you're glad that the second half of the season is the one where it's like that's where the conference is like important. Like you got to get better and keep getting better as it goes. But it's just we're one block, one play away from being a completely different season.
You guys have faced down, at least in my opinion, the 3 best defenses in the conference here in these first 4 games. And obviously, again, you play your schedule, but we've seen flashes of what this offense is capable of. I think we're about to see a whole lot more of it as we head into the home stretch.
Absolutely.
What would you say has been the best thing you've seen out of the offensive unit in these first 4 games?
Just seeing our running backs, they're doing really good. They're running the scheme incredibly well, and it's like it's been good, and it's really helped our young quarterback, figure out like coming to his own as well, and like that's been a huge deal for us. And our offensive line's been pretty solid, so I'm excited about that.
Kind of on the flip side of that coin, I know at times things have slowed down. You've had a couple of big drives that have ended in late turnovers. What are the biggest fundamental improvements that you're looking to see out of the offense moving forward?
Yeah, just the fumbles. That's rough. The turnovers, like we've had 2 games where we've driven down, and the first drive of the game has been a fumble or been some sort of snafu. So we just got to eliminate those mistakes, and then we'll be able to do whatever we want against teams is the hope.
Luke Armstrong's been putting up the kind of numbers you do when you're the older brother and you're mad at your sibling in Madden this season.
Right.
He's got 384 yards, 5 touchdowns, all on just 50 carries. He's averaging 8 yards a carry. That's to say nothing of his 2 kick returns for a touchdown. Right. Does he feel like, the kind of centerpiece that you can really kind of tool an offense around in some ways?
Absolutely. Yeah, the focal point goes to him for sure. And so that's something, he is. He is a guy that needs to touch the ball as often as possible.
Byron McNair is also still making big plays for this squad, and I think the cool thing with Byron, he's only a sophomore. You can kind of see him learning and developing and growing in real time. Where do you feel like you've seen him take the biggest step forward from game 1 to game 4 already?
He's just been a leader. He's been a leader to the guys and somebody that people look to we walk into the locker room and he's already getting the guys together and talking to them and everybody's listening to him, and it's like that's the biggest thing I see from him, and it's like it's just going to grow as he keeps growing as a quarterback.
Well, and it doesn't feel like an unfair question because of Byron's mentality. We've talked with him on the pregame show about that as well. He's always looking for the finer margins that he can improve. Where would you like to see him take kind of even another step forward as he continues to develop?
Just the drop back pass game. That's something where he needs to get a lot better, and he has his guys that he looks to, and he just needs to be able to progress and keep moving through the thing and not just focus on one person, which he has a tendency to do at times. But then sometimes he goes through the progression, it's beautiful, and it's like I'm like, okay, everything's fine. But just the things a young quarterback does, and it's just he needs to focus on him and keep working through all of his stuff.
We talked earlier this season about Earl Gray and the impact that he's had in the receiving game, but a guy that's really impressed me, I think, these last couple of weeks is Alexander Elam. He is finding his way open. He runs beautiful routes, sure-handed as well. I feel like anytime you get the ball to him, you just don't see him make many drops. How do you feel like what defines Alexander Elam as a receiver, and what strengths does he bring to that position?
He is the most quiet human being. You don't even know he's on the football team half the time. He's just like, he's out there. Like, he works his butt off. He is a guy that knows what's going on, and he's crafty, man. Like, he is just a crafty receiver, and like at his size, and that's what you have to be. And he is crafty, and I don't know how he gets. I don't know what he does. I don't know how he does it. It's just all of a sudden like that against Southwestern. That one he caught on the sideline was like, I was like, oh my god. And then he did it twice, I think, last week. Did he have 2?
Yeah,
2 or 3.
Yeah.
And it's just like he just does. He just knows where to be, and like he gets into the quarterback's window, and he does a really good job. So he's just, like I said, crafty would be how I would describe that kid.
It's another year where you look at the receiving stats as a team, and it's kind of the unique thing with Kansas Wesleyan. It was a similar situation a season ago. You've got 12 guys who have hauled in at least 1 catch this year. Gray and Elam kind of at the top of that list. And then you got 10 guys that have caught between 1 and 4 passes. Do you think that makes you guys almost a nightmare to try to guard when it's, you don't know who the third guy is you need to take away? There are so many weapons you can use.
Yeah, at times. And it's just, you got to find what they're going to take away from us. Like that's the biggest thing from like what we're doing. And we're going to grow as in our offensive, the RPOs and everything else, and just, have to make sure we're taking care of the little things first. But yeah, it's tough to, a defense probably has to, especially when we change personnel and do that, it's going to be tough to figure out that's the goal, at least, to figure out who you're going to take away.
Well, and receiver-wise, last question on that group, but I did want to ask you, outside of Gray and Elam, is there anybody that you're hoping or maybe even expecting to see step up and make a big run here down the stretch?
I'd like to see Pearsall. I'd like to see him, grow a little bit, and then Staples, same thing. I'd like to see those guys, grow as receivers. But, we have a solid core. We just got to figure out, that's the thing. It's like it was a new group from last year, so we got to kind of figure out who is what they're good at and what they're doing. It's like, just kind of take some time to learn.
Injuries notwithstanding, I feel like the group that's made the biggest jump this season, offense and defense, it's got to be that offensive line. And again, you guys have been able to run the ball effectively. Pass protections look good. I think Byron's only been sacked, 3, maybe 4 times so far this season?
Yeah, those are his fault too. So.
Well, fair enough. But, when you look at the way that unit has played, does it feel like there's just an extra level of comfort knowing that, you've got that amount of talent and skill up front?
Absolutely. That's a huge comfort. And, it's something that, like we do. We lean heavily on the run game and with our scheme that we can run into a box that's loaded and we just run around people or not have to, it's like that's what's nice about it. And those guys are really good at what we do. So that's the best part about it.
I know you predominantly, work obviously with the offense as the offensive coordinator, but when it comes to putting points up on the board, it's a part of it as well. I know we talked about him 3 weeks ago, but I got to ask you about Cole Seagraves. The kid hit a 55-yarder. It's a new program record. Not only is it an unbelievable weapon to have, but how cool is it to have the 1-2 punch with him and Cope where, you've got the right tool for the right distance anytime you want to try to put 3 on the board?
Absolutely. No, that's been huge, and that helps me. That's what what happened, we tried to take a shot right before half and ended up taking a sack. And it's like, oh, well, he's still got the range, and I think he had it by another 4 or 5 yards.
Oh, for sure.
So, no, that's a huge comfort for us, for sure.
Is it almost like playing golf with those two, where you're sitting there, you're like, all right, with 30 yards from the pin, like where we going to the big 9-iron, or what are we breaking out? Is there a distance on that you've set where if it's beyond a certain point, it's
we just
seed
set
rates?
it. We just I mean, I don't know what that point is where they've set it. Like I just know I think it's around the 40 yards. Like if it's over that, then you're just thinking Seagraves is going to knock it through. So, but Cope is he's accurate from all. I mean, he does. They both, like I said, it's nice to have that, honestly.
Absolutely, and not many teams that use two different kickers on field goal, but like I said, a heck of a tool to have. Looking at this upcoming matchup, you guys will take on a 4-0 Bethel defense coming into Salina here this Saturday. When you watch that group on film, what are kind of the biggest strengths and challenges that they throw at you?
They're incredibly senior heavy. Like they are just like seniors and juniors across the board on defense, and I mean they're just solid across the board. And then the Seabolt kid, I feel like there's been 9 of them there. Like they've been there forever. They're solid. They're just a solid defense, and they do a good job. So it's just another 4-0 team we're playing, 3-0 team, undefeated team. So it's good, and it's something that's what's nice about this conference. It'll change up next year, but it's not like we've played a cupcake schedule right off the bat.
No.
Like we've gotten into it, and especially when you're young, you have young guys, and it's like you just got to learn how everything goes, and it's just better to play these now than later on. So
absolutely. Well, last thing for you here, Coach. Overall, what would you say are the biggest keys, specifically for the KW offense here on Saturday?
We got to complete some passes. We got to do better at that. And I know it was a raining game, and you have those excuses, but we don't like to make excuses. And it's just we need to complete passes and drop back and make sure we progress and just do our job. That's the biggest thing. If we do that, then we'll be okay.
Coach Power, thank you again so much for your time. Best of luck to your Coyotes this week.
Absolutely. Appreciate you.
Once again, that was the Coyote offensive coordinator, James Bauer. We'll step away, but when we return, the KW Coaches Show, presented by Billings Group, rolls on. You're listening right here on KINA.
With record-breaking enrollment, great new facilities, and top-notch activities, Kansas Wesleyan's the place to be. Whether you want to study nursing, elementary education, criminal justice, or social work, our academic programs will open doors for your future, all while you participate in activities like music, theater, or athletics. Learn more about why KWU's the place to be by visiting kwu.edu. That's kwu.edu.
At Gambino's Pizza, we serve more toppings, more taste, and more value. Our all-you-can-eat buffet, open every day from 11 to 1:30 p.m., is the only pizza buffet in town. For only $13, every member of your family can find something they will enjoy with options like classic and specialty pizzas or the appetizers and desserts. Not in the mood for pizza? You can order a fresh salad, hearty sandwiches, or creamy pasta from the menu. Dine in at the Salina or Hayes location or order online at gambinospizza.com. You're going to love it.
Now back to the Kansas Wesleyan University's Coaches Show with Tyler Henry.
Welcome back in on the KW Coaches Show, presented by Billings Group. We're joined now by DeJour Williams, offensive lineman for your Coyote developmental football program. And DeJour, first and foremost, thank you so much for taking some time and stopping by the show today.
Yes, sir. Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
So you come to the Coyotes all the way down from Denton, Texas. I was curious, what was it that really made you want to come play for the Purple and Gold?
The program here is winning, good tradition, good academics, good program. So I just thought of myself, I was like, man, let me come here and just develop and just do what I can do.
And was there anything that stuck out to you, maybe on a visit with the coaching staff like that really kind of clinched it for you?
I came here in February, I think, beginning of February. Came here, talked to the staff, look around the school facilities. I was like, man, this could be home for me. I just committed and signed it, and now I'm here where I'm at right now.
We talked a little bit before the interview here. You had a chance to play, again, big 5A Division I down in Texas under those big bright lights. First of all, what was that experience like for you, and has it been kind of a strange transition going from one place to another?
I feel like the experience was good. It got me way prepared. Because I'm playing with the big dogs, so it's like coming here, I'm playing with dudes that's older in college, so I feel like just me doing that in high school, playing with big dogs, coming up here, I'm already at that level, and just competing at a high level.
Are there any players when you were growing up, whether you were little, high school, early college, that, you really enjoyed watching as you kind of came up?
Enjoy watching? I say Cam Newton, just because I like Cam Newton a lot.
Big Panthers fan?
No, just Cam Newton.
Okay, hey, fair enough. Cam's a fun guy.
He is.
Yeah, it was also odd. I always think back on that 2-year Patriots Cam Newton stint there near the end of his career, but Yeah. So how has, in your opinion, I mean, what has the transition been like going from high school football to college football? What are the biggest differences in your mind?
I feel like the game speed's different. It's more faster, more like more up tempo. But I mean, once you get used to it, you'll be fine. Everything will be smooth.
Developmental programs are something that's kind of unique here to the NAIA. What does it mean to you to be able to, have a team where you can get real legit game day reps and kind of keep working your way towards playing on Saturdays?
I just feel like the more I develop, the more I get better. When my time comes, like varsity time comes, I'll be ready to go, and be ready to roll.
Well, and speaking of that, I know the goal for any developmental player, you're trying to get to a point where you play on Saturday. How nice is it to know that in practices, in games, everything that you're learning, everything that you're working on, it's the same offenses, the same calls, the same reads to where when your number does get called, you're ready.
I just feel like going to practice is going through all the reps to just get me better and get me more prepared, more ready to go in the game on Saturday if I was to play.
Overall, what would you say kind of defines, now that you've had some time to settle into it, what defines the culture of football here at Kansas Wesleyan?
The culture of Wesleyan is just we got to win, man. Just win and win and win. And if we keep winning, we'll just do what we want to do. They won a championship back in, 2018 or 2021?
I believe close, all the way down to the semis.
Yeah, so, they went there. I mean, it's just a good program to keep winning. And if we win, that's what we want to do and just keep striving.
I was curious, do you feel like you've been able to kind of learn a lot from the guys that are in front of you when you go to practice? And just who are some guys that have really kind of stuck out to you that you've been able to kind of learn from?
To me, I say Tony. I start on right tackle. I just watch him and what he does. Aiden Kendall, our right guard. He's in the playbook all the time, head in, head out. He's just in there, locked in. So I feel like we're watching those guys and just taking those reps from looking what they're doing and doing that for myself gets me way better.
What aspects of your game would you say have kind of come along the furthest from the time you stepped foot on campus to now, a little over midway through the developmental schedule?
I say my knowledge of the whole playbook, the program, what to do. Because I came in, didn't really know what to do, but I got in the playbook. I learned what to do. And I feel like just knowing what to do, you play a lot better because you already locked in mentally. You know what to do, so you go in there and just do what you do.
How different are, just the routine, the game day rhythm, everything from, workouts to, your own routine? How different is that from high school to college as you make that jump?
I feel like in high school it's more like kind of, I don't want to say laid back, but it was kind of chill. But here it's like with an intent. So everything we do here is with an intent. So like today, we have school today, we play today. So, I mean, I feel like it's just more of like, I say, it's not really like, I say high intent. Yeah, high intent.
Well, and I was also curious, it feels like across the board in the NAIA, there's a difference in treatment as far as the developmental programs goes. It really does vary from school to school, but Kansas Wesleyan, they put a big emphasis on their developmental programs. They want the game day atmosphere to be similar.
Right.
Do you feel like you've kind of felt that care from the university as far as, being a guy that it doesn't necessarily suit up Saturdays?
Yeah, right. So our first game against Coffeyville, I think, we were here, came out, ran at the tunnel. The fans were there. The energy was there. So I feel like having all of that make us prepared to play on Saturday if we were to.
And do you feel like as far as, everything else goes, equipment, like it's just little things like that, you feel like you guys get the kind of support that you need?
We do. I mean, our helmets are great. Speed Flexes, I love those. I wore them since high school. I just love that. Our jerseys, I mean, everything's just good. There's nothing like ran down, nothing like tore off, nothing that's not good.
As far as the team goes, how do you feel about kind of these first 3 or 4 games of the developmental schedule if you take it all as a package deal?
I feel like our team are good. We just got to lock in on some ends. I mean, we're good where we are. Offense is good, defense is good, but I mean, you can always get better at anything you do. So we got to keep growing and get better, and then we get to what to do, just start winning games.
And as a team, I mean, what do you feel like are kind of the biggest areas where you're looking to take a step up here as we head into the backstretch?
I'd probably say offense. We got to score the ball a lot more. We got to score. So I feel like today, we're going to go out there and probably score as much as we can and do what we can do.
You guys have a big game coming up here Sunday against Benedictine College. That'll be on September 29th on the road. What are kind of the biggest keys for the squad as far as the developmental team goes for that game?
For that game, I'm going there prepared, going there locked in, and you go out there. I mean, if you go out there, you know what to do, you'll be good. Go out there and just do your assignment, get your head in the playbook, you'll be all right. Go out there and do what you're supposed to do.
Well, DeJour, thank you again so much for your time. Best of luck to your Coyotes this week.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Once again, that was DeJour Williams, offensive lineman for the KW Developmental Program here on the Coaches Show presented by Billings Group. That'll just about do it for us, but the reminder that the Coyotes are back in action this Saturday in Salina to take on the Bethel Threshers at 6 p.m. You can tune in on KINA with the Catalog Countdown to Kickoff show set to begin at 5 o'clock. That's all, but before we go, I want to say a special thank you to Matt Myers, to James Bauer, to Earl Gray, and to DeJour Williams for stopping by. We'll see you on Saturday on KINA.
This has been a presentation of Kansas Wesleyan University's Coaches Show with Tyler Henry, brought to you by CADLaw and Eagle Communications on the Kansas Wesleyan University Network and KINA.